This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Well, we're gonna take us down. Welcome to Chicago. We are at Casa Humilde 7700 Forest on Madison and Forest Park. Yeah, we'll have some audio issues here. Got it? All right, there we go. Some audio issues there. And again, this is the Bears Lions halftime show. We are down 13-0. Lots to talk about, especially on the offensive side or lack of there. Total yards, Lions 237-69. Passing yards 238. Rushing 37-31. Yards per play 6.1 to 3.5. First downs 15-4. Third down efficiency 1 for 5 for the Bears, 4 for 7 for the Lions. Time of possession 19 minutes and 12 seconds for the Lions and 10:48 for the Bears. That is a problem, Steve.
Yeah. Obviously, our offense hasn't been on the field much. Detroit has moved the ball up and down the field. Luckily for us, our defense has been able to hold them to field goals and obviously gave up that touchdown. But eventually, even though we allow 2 field goals to start, we eventually have to get points on the board. Our struggles come from we just got to capitalize. You know what kind of game it is. So offensively, we have to capitalize on every possession. So Detroit is playing that game of taking the ball away, keeping us off rhythm. And what we have to do is when we get the ball, we have to capitalize. And that's the first thing they have to do coming out of the half, get points on the board. Perfectly, we would love to have a touchdown. We need a touchdown. Honestly, if we're going to win this game, we need to come out halftime, put 7 on the board to get back into this.
Ivan, why didn't we take the points at the half?
Because we're greedy, and Ben Johnson has to play that way. Again, aggressive is cool, man. I like it. It's a part of his personality. But at this moment, I feel like you take the points, you get the ball again at half, and you go ahead and work from there. I didn't like that last sequence, and I haven't been liking the last sequences for the past few games in these short yardage situations, 4th and short, 3rd and short, red zone situations where it seems to me that he strays away from his identity, and that's being a bully, that's running the football. They just don't do it for whatever reason. They don't do it. I just felt like it was a little bit too desperate for Ben Johnson. Going into that last drive, you could have ran the ball there and still had enough time. But again, to me, this defense for the Chicago Bears is the one that's letting them down. They constantly you pick up a couple sacks, you get them in third in long situations, and you can't cover. You get you stop them short the run game, you can't cover. This has been the Achilles heel of this Bears team all season long, and it still is the Achilles heel. And you see it, man. But look, better quarterbacks, better offenses, and not even, leaps and bounds better. I'm just talking about able to execute and have a few weapons, are able to go ahead and dice up this defense time and time again. Spencer Rattler, man, with the same, he did it. I've mentioned all the backups that have torn us up this year on defense, offensively while we're on defense. It's just too much. This is too much. You're giving up way too many yards in critical situations, and that's not how you win football games, especially in the playoffs.
Steve, looking at the offensive side, Caleb 6 for 10 for 45 yards with 1 sack. DeAndre Swift 7 for 30. Manangai 2 for 1. But the biggest thing is the wide receivers are not being used. Loveland has 4 for 38, which is great. Cole Kmet 1 for a loss of 4 yards. DJ Moore 1 on that 1 sweep. Why are the wide receivers not being a big part of the game?
Well, we haven't been on the field. That's one thing. It was just we don't have an abundance of opportunities here. We mix it. We spread the ball around. We just haven't gotten no rhythm. I mean, the best we've gotten on rhythm, and we talked about it, even though I wasn't on game pregame, and we talked after you guys got off, is that we need to capitalize on our drives. You know, when's the last time we put some points on the board? Maybe it's field goals, but touchdown is definitely what we need to start doing. But we moved the ball and we stalled out. And then after that, we haven't had the ball too many opportunities. It's just we haven't got into that rhythm. This offense, it can be explosive, but when it's really doing good, it's in the rhythm. It's in everything's going, and that's when you see all these different guys get the ball and touching the ball. Right now, you see Manunga is not even in the game. He's got 2 carries. That's not because then usage. It's just there's not many opportunities, and Caleb seems like he's not in his rhythm, even though he's 6'10". When I mean rhythm is down the field explosives. So we're just not seeing everything set up to where the Bears will like it, because Detroit is playing the perfect game, how to beat the Bears. And defensively, we're letting up a lot, even though we've been on break. There's no turnovers. There's, the thing that makes this defense pop is the turnover. So it's a struggle bus right now. You're still within reach, but you got to consider coming down here. Hopefully you get 7, but if not, take the 3. We got to start chipping away somehow.
Ivan, what halftime adjustments does Ben Johnson need to make in order for the Bears to be successful in the second half?
Well, like Steve said, they're taking away the middle of the field. They're taking away these outsides. Maybe we start hitting them underneath screen game, maybe some under routes. I like to see some Texas routes from the running backs, things like that, slants. I need to see maybe a couple of screen plays. We talked about those draw plays, right, Steve? We talked about it where we haven't seen these draw plays in certain situations where I feel like they could take advantage of an aggressive defense or a defense that is dropping back in coverage. So for me, it's just start taking the underneaths and work your way up. Don't get away from the running game, and I felt like they did that in the last couple of drives. They got away from it again. Don't get away from the run game, because your play action don't mean shit if you don't run the football. And defensively, defensively, I feel like right now, whatever the game plan was, you need to scrap it and readjust.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's what Ben does the best. I mean, they will readjust and get things going. You always see this where we have these sloppy first halves that don't look great. This is one of the worst ones. Obviously you're scared about this thing getting away from us. So with us getting the ball, I'm hoping that Ben has scrapped some of the things he's done coming in, being creative, being a guy who's very smart, to be able to make these changes and come out here. Let's reestablish ourselves with our identity, and let's put a hard 7 on the board. And then let's start playing. Let's change the momentum, because the crowd, I'm sure, is very quiet. And you need to get them back to life to get this thing, let's get the excitement get going.
You're in a dogfight, you know what I mean? You're in a dogfight. This isn't going to be a pretty one. So you're going to need to step up and announce your presence with authority here in the second half. I need to see you blow these guys back into the end zone and put the rock in the colored paint with this run game. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Start being a bully, start getting more physical, because I felt like that first half, that was like the least physical I've seen the Bears in a while.
It did not look good, and it's crazy because we just got into a shootout in the West Coast, and we're able to put up points very easily by going up and down on the field, and now we're struggling. We're struggling really bad, 6 for 10 for 45 yards on kick side, and then 31 yards on the rushing side. Their defense gives up 30-something points a game. We should be able to move the ball on them. So as an offensive mastermind, you're going to have to figure this out and use the running game to open your play action. Make sure that you're using your wide receivers and not just use DJ Moore as a decoy. I can't stand that he's just, he's jet sweep. Okay, DJ Moore. No, you're just going to have him run the ball. No. He is a threat. Throw the ball to the man. He can get yak. And in the NFL, it's all about yak with these wide receivers. We see with Loveland, he can get the yak. That's why I like when they throw it to him. But you have a wide receiver one, a A1 dude, and we're not using him effectively.
I think pressure's a big part of it too. They're sending a lot of blitzes, so it's keeping Caleb, off his mark. But go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're going this, circling back on that DJ Moore. We need to get him down the field where we stretch the field out. I think they're sitting on a lot of routes, even though we're finding some success. Let's find an opportunity to take a shot. Where's Luther Burden at? Let's get him back into game. I think he's had, if I'm correct,
No, he didn't get past.
He
not even targeted.
Nah, nothing. So we got to get Luther in the game. We have to get the ball in his hands. He's electric. He's a guy who gets this offense going and generated. So let's find Luther. Let's take some shots. Let's run the ball. Let's get the play action going. Real simple concept. Sounds easier said than done, but let's get back to that.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. It's just, it's all about the defense for me. Like if you could stop them on these drives, I feel like this offense will find a way to score points. But if you can't, and they're able to control the clock like they are, it's going to be a long second half.
I'm tired of this bend and don't break. I want some turnovers. I want to stop. We did talk about in the pregame show about putting your hands up on the defensive line. You can't get to the quarterback. Put your hands up. We tipped 2 balls. That's a great start because guess what? You tip 2 balls. Now your DBs and your linebackers can catch those. It's a good start. If you can't get to the quarterback, do that. On offense, I need you to run the ball and be able to pass out of that play action so that way you can get to DJ Moore and to Colston Loveland and to Luther Lethal Burden. Let's get him involved in the game. But we are at Casa Humilde. We're having some amazing beer. We just smashed some smash burgers. Steve had some wings. Which wings did you have today?
I had the barbecue ones. I had to go back to the ones I had originally.
Okay.
Off the chain.
It is great food, great beer, great atmosphere. It is a jam-packed house in here, standing room only. And we'll be back at the post-game show at Casa Humilde, 7700 Madison in Forest Park. Bear down, baby.